detailed windows of opportunity for discussion. So to try and keep everything flowing and get everything in that we need to tonight, I'm going to have Susan watching my time. So we are going to try our best to stay on track. So this is a joint work session for our comprehensive plan. Tonight is going to be more about additions to our comprehensive plan. We'll talk about things that we have been talking about, that projects we need to add, some financial discussions, some funding opportunities, and we'll go through that. And then at the end, we're going to talk about the possibility of setting up some more work sessions or how you all would like to navigate those waters. So, a little bit about the comprehensive plan. Sorry. I set them down and forgot for a second. So a little bit about the comprehensive plan. This is their roadmap. It literally has a little trail on it. So it's literally a roadmap of where we're going. It has to be reviewed every 5 years. So that's what we're doing now. This is due September 2026. I know that seems like a long way away, but it's really not that far. It's going to be a big job because we need to do it right. We need to go through it, and we need to take out what needs to come out. We need to put in what needs to go in. And this is going to be our direction for the next 5 years. So everyone in this room right now has a big job because you guys are going to help shape our future for the town. Okay? So that's just a little bit about comprehensive plan, what it is, and where we're going. So let's look at additions to the comprehensive plan. And to some of you boards, this is going to be kind of repetitive. To some of you, it might be the first time that you're hearing some of this. So I'm going to go through. If you have any questions, please feel free to stop me. Ask me questions. It's perfectly fine. I do have built in a roundtable discussion toward the end where we can all get together, share any other ideas that we haven't covered tonight. So here we go. Additions to the comprehensive plan. We have a wastewater treatment plant upgrade that we just got started, like literally November. So that is a project that is being funded by the Department of Environmental Quality, DEQ. It's a $19 million project with 3.5 in principal forgiveness. And the PSA is a partner on that. They own 40% of the plant and we own 60%. It's an 18-month project. Orders construction has been awarded the bid, and like I said just now, they begin this month. Next, we have something that has been brought to my attention, was installing sewer lines to residents that don't have access. There's not very many streets that this occurs on, however, we do have a few. So we can identify those streets and we can take our infrastructure on out to those locations. Now, you see that I have on here 27, 28, and 28, 29. The reason why is because the crew that will be doing this work has another project that they're working on right now. So in order to kind of have a little bit more leniency with staff and to kind of have a little bit more in our budget, I have pushed those out to 27, 28, and 28, 29. I do have pro forma budgets, which we're going to go over later this evening. So in 27, 28, I've allocated $50,000 to sewer line construction maintenance, and 28, 29, $63,000 to that cause. Route 460, I know that we have all heard about our Route 460 water line replacement project, and that's the project that our other guys are on right now, which is kind of why I pushed the sewer installation a little bit back. So this project is currently ongoing. It is funded by the Virginia Department of Health, Office of Drinking Water. It's a $2.5 million project with $1.2 million in principal forgiveness. This is a is the Tazewell County PSA. It's an 18-month project, and as progress right now, like I said, we have started on this. We've replaced line from Peary Street to Cherry Street. 3,512 feet have been replaced thus far. We are replacing 8-inch with 12-inch and 6-inch with 12-inch. And what that's going to do is allow us to push more water out into the county, which is going to help Pocahontas to increase their water service. Where we're going next with this project is we are going to have a pressure reducing vault set on Riverside Drive. We'll be placing some more 6-inch line with 8-inch line on Market Street. And then going out by the Rainy Lot to the bridge at Great Escape, we'll replace an 8-inch line with 10-inch line. So you all heard me talk a little bit about this lead service line replacement. This was something that was mandated by the EPA. They made us, and when I say us, every locality throughout the U.S., they put in a mandate that they wanted an inventory of all of the lines, being town served lines and the homeowner lines. And we had to have that turned in by October 2024, and we did meet that deadline. So November 1st, 2027, if there are any lead service lines in place, they want a plan to replace them. So that is going to be town lines, town service lines. However, we do think that in the future, they are going to make it mandatory that homeowners also replace their lines. And those have to be changed by 2037, so they're given 10 years to do that. Sidewalk maintenance. We did have a presentation from a gentleman earlier this year that brought some awareness to us on Main Street. And we have in budget right now to do some of that upgrades. We have $12,000 right now in the current budget to do sidewalk maintenance. That is estimated to be $12,000 to $18,000 for repair on Main Street. We are planning on doing that this budget year. And something that I did not mention on here yet, Susan and I attended a VDOT meeting 2 weeks ago, and VDOT is interested in working with us to put in some sidewalks out Fincastle from Cargo toward Benbolt, and that would be kind of a partner project with them, and there would be funding available with them as well. So that has not gotten clearance from them yet, but that is a possibility of something that we might be looking at. So again, sidewalk maintenance fits in our comprehensive plan. And here was some of the areas that the presentation had kind of keyed out for us. And again, we do plan on doing this budget year, so before June the 30th. Another project that we've talked about a lot lately is our EMS congressional directed spending from Senator Warner. We were allocated $354,000. The town has agreed to match $300,000. Thompson & Litton has prepared a preliminary architectural report. We did have a pre-bid meeting on this. However, when we had the meeting, there were several questions from the contractors about construction documents, and we did not have those available at the time, but Thompson & Litton is in the process of getting those for us. And we will have to have another pre-bid meeting and have the contractors come back to give them the kind of apples to apples comparison on what they would bid on. This is just a little bit of kind of a schematic of what would be happening up at the EMS. We would be building 2 additional bays and creating a better living situation up there. Right now they have kind of offices and their bunk quarters are the same. So this would be able to remedy that where they could have an office and then still have their bunk rooms, and they would be separate. This option, which we had chose to go to, was $866,000. That was from Thompson & Litton's preliminary architectural report. North Tazewell revitalization. is something that we've heard a lot about with IDA especially. So the Clinch River Farmers Market Pavilion. That is a current project that we are doing. Should be finished by 2026 in May. We have actually just been awarded some additional CPROP funds of $50,000 that will go to the parking lot and pavement infrastructure for that. And total secured as of today, $658,000. So very nicely. Here is a schematic of what that is planning to look like. This is Heritage Metal has been awarded that bid. It's coming in right at $260,000. They have already begun work down there. I don't know if you all have noticed anybody working, but they are preparing the concrete footers, yes. So when we have this pavilion, it's going to actually become a revenue opportunity because when it's not being used by the farmers market, we can rent the facility out. And this was just, a possibility. If we rented it at $75, 26 rentals a year, and it could be more than that, but almost $2,000 a year. And that would be able to kind of offset some of the costs such as electricity, upkeep, maintenance. So the next, again, an IDA project is 1616 Riverside Drive. That is where the town public works department is right now, and they are actively working on cleaning out the space. They are just about there. What we had just discussed 2 weeks ago now, right? Well, last week. So we had talked about obtaining a planning grant and determining sustainable uses for the building, such as a commercial kitchen, a cannery, or a fab lab. So we are in the market to try and get that. Also, North Tazewell Revitalization, we're working with DHCD with a facade improvement. This is a grant-based project, and we do have buy-in from almost all the property owners down there. I think there were 2 that they're interested and they have said that they would like to participate, but they have not been able to connect with David Hill at Hill Studios yet. And Hill Studio was my next point. So Hill Studio has done the planning grant for the North Tazewell Revitalization, and they have renderings of what could be. They also include things such as sidewalk, and we did talk to the VDOT, I guess they were planning engineers when we talked, and we kind of made them aware that we do have some things going on in that kind of neighborhood, and they were interested to learn more and interested that if we have more traffic coming through that area, would we need to do something at the red light, such as like a turn arrow lane through there. So there might be some possibilities on that coming in the future. However, right now, I don't have anything concrete for that. As you all know, I think all boards know this one, that area has now been added to the Virginia Enterprise Zone. So if we do have potential developers in the future, we are now able to offer them the Virginia Enterprise Zone incentives as well. And the hopes would be that we would develop those warehouses down through there. Our next one is mountain biking trails. We currently have funding of $350,000 from the town. Tazewell County has graciously allocated $60,000 from a grant that they were going to use somewhere else. So right now we have total secure funding of $410,000. Here's just a little bit about where that property is. The property is out Grattan on Albany Street. And the town has the 2 properties in green here. And there is a property in blue, that's the Hunter property that we would need an easement for. And then the JS&P Corporation, they also have an easement that we'll need. And I spoke to them both today. So we are still in good shape with them. They're interested to sign. We're just trying to work out a few details. This is also a revenue opportunity. Say we have 5 tournaments a year and have 50 riders at each tournament, and we have them pay a $50 registration fee. That could be a total of $12,500. Next would be field restoration at Lincolnshire Park. The backfield is mostly unusable. The front field is available for use. We could have a softball league if we had usable fields. I have had people interested in that, and I think they've come and spoke to the council before. But if we were to bring the softball league, we would have people using our park, coming to Airtown, and that's outside money coming into Airtown. At one time, this was the quote received, I believe it was last year, $390,000 to redo both of those fields and get them up to where it would address the drainage issues and make those fields usable again. This was a drawing supplied to me as what fields could be out there. You'll see that there's baseball fields there and soccer fields. Myself, I have a hard time seeing all of this out there. But that's okay, because we have another option to put some soccer fields out at the Rainy lot. I don't have any cost estimates for either of these, but that is something that we could put in here, and there are funding that we can go after and try to accomplish this goal. We have discussed primitive camping and night fishing. Versa Insurance, who is their insurance company, they have no exclusions for primitive camping. However, they don't have any other clients that offer it. They would require signage, and we would have to follow the game and inland fishery regulations, and additional cameras would be recommended, because during the season that we would offer this, probably May to September, that would also be when we have our aqua park inflatables up there. So we want to make sure that we are taking care of the assets that we already have. Another concern would be we would have to build a road so we could get our emergency services vehicles out there. That is going to take engineering services and environmental services. This is just a best guess estimate to have engineering services, build a road, construction. You're looking at about $95,000. Again, those are not hardcore numbers. It's just estimates on what might cost to do that. However, it is a revenue opportunity, and again, I don't know of a good, solid recommendation that I could give as far as a rate to have revenue. However, if we rented 95 rentals during May through September, and we rented at $15, that's $1,425. I really think that if we do this and we do it right, we could rent them out much more than that. So I do think that that figure could go up. However, I wanted to be more reserved with that. A possible property acquisition has been talked about, maybe obtaining a portion of the fairground. If we were able to do that, we could possibly put a retail location, and that location would be very attractive because it is adjacent to the Route 460. Okay, how am I doing on time?
5:55.
Okay, so I burned through a lot of topics. And now, do you all have any other additions to the comprehensive plan? Yes?
In topic with sidewalk maintenance, something that we discussed at our November meeting is the possibility of connecting the North Tazewell district to Lincolnshire with a sidewalk of some kind. I don't obviously know how much that costs. It's just an idea that we discussed because we're building North Tazewell into more of an asset, and that would help connect both areas of town.
Out there by the Hunting Club, coming all the way down Riverside.
I do think that when the
Past
Route
the Clover
61
Leaf.
project was going on. I do think that there was talk of the sidewalk there. However, I'm not very well versed in what happened with that sidewalk.
You know, that sidewalk was done by, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
The sidewalk out there where they had the walking trail coming down and around and going back toward Lincolnshire Park, that was already supposed to have been settled with the Thompson and Litton because they didn't get that sidewalk.
Do you know why they didn't put it in?
They evidently forgot. Unless somebody can go out there, well, Thompson Litton,
That was all right before I got on council.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was in the plans and the drawings to
It
do
was.
it, and the contractors missed it, but the project got signed off on. So I don't know that we could, I don't know that we have a right to go back and
It
get
is,
it.
that sidewalk is in the current comprehensive plan, but with the renovations going on in North Tazewell, it's got phase 1, phase 2 connecting the Barnes Trail to Lincolnshire. I almost wonder if you prioritize getting the sidewalk in front of the farmer's market out that way,
that's what,
but prior to going out towards Lincolnshire.
They're gonna do, yeah, they're both gonna have to get done regardless, but yeah.
after they did the work out there, they're supposed to go ahead and put a sidewalk in there. And Thompson Litton failed to get it straight. It needs to go back to Thompson Litton. If you check with Thompson Litton about this issue, maybe get more intel on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's already in the comprehensive plan, but essentially all of North Tazewell needs sidewalk upgrades.
I like to see sidewalks go all the way around town.
We still have a piece of sidewalk that has been missing for over a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the
Right in
sidewalk,
front of our house, it's just right there, no
Okay.
sidewalk.
Get gone.
the sidewalk immediately in front of Tazewell Intermediate School is unsafe. It has a pretty steep elevation on it.
It's steep. Kid fall off that and get hurt.
Right.
Fall off the road.
Okay.
Were you talking about from Cargo to Benbolt, are they they're gonna pull up asphalt and all that and put a sidewalk in place of the demarcated walking path?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I understood. That's good.
It's originally put in as a temporary sidewalk.
Anybody else have any other additions?
Still say you don't spend that $866 on that old rescue squad building. It's a $50,000 piece of property. And I don't care what you do right there, that shouldn't be the place for our EMS if we're moving forward. If you've got $866,000, you look for a better location for them.
I agree.
You know, and I said it before the last meeting, the property right there beside Old Virginia Pharmacy, we need to reach out to that Matney guy and see if it's for sale. You know, the county's talking about doing a new fire places because, you know, the fairgrounds is inadequate. And we're gonna take a piece of property in a building that's been there how many years? And it's junk.
So,
How many times have we renovated?
talking about the EMS building, Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah. It needs to be bulldozed. You know, when I go look at a house to buy, there's a lot of variables that come into it. That gentleman that was in here the other night that bought the place on Tazewell Avenue, I felt sorry for him, but I couldn't tell him what he really wanted to hear. He has nothing there. If he gets that house engineered, it'll never pass. Chris will tell you that house will never pass. I mean, we just need to, $866,000 spent on that property is wrong.
Would council direct me to contact the property owner? And there was another property that you and I had discussed as well.
Exactly.
I would, because I'm with Danny. I know that she likes being there because a lot of her calls are up in that area, but it's not a great building. And if you could put it just down the way, right beside Old Virginia, it's still a great location.
You have visibility both ways. And what is it, a mile from where you're at now?
Not even.
Not even that. You know, you still get to Heritage Hall, you still get to the hospital. you know, you,
I mean,
It's a
you
no-brainer.
could even go up, is that Hill Street? No.
Yeah.
Gap,
Street.
Gap,
Gap and Hill, yeah.
Yeah, you can go up that way.
okay, so,
We're pregnant on this one, right? Like, we bought these, how were the architectural designs paid for? Did we spend our dollars that we allocated towards this? Right, we allocated 300, correct?
yes. So that would come out of that, and it's already been paid for in the last budget year that we were in.
Say that one more time, sorry.
Okay, so the PAR was paid for in the last budget year, so it has been paid for, and yes, we can use those funds allocated for that.
Right, but we're gonna have to go back and buy new funds, work a real estate deal.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not saying no to it, I'm just saying, you know, consider the cost that we've already put into it. It definitely demonstrates a lack of foresight for, you know, being good stewards of taxpayer dollars to go get the designs and then have it in place. We're waiting on the congressional earmark funds and then say, yeah, never mind, let's flip it. I'm not saying that's a reason not to do it, I'm just saying sucks to waste money on those things.
Well, I mean, it comes out to be a cheaper project to do it that way, then you're not wasting money. Because you did that project to see how much to evaluate the cost.
Right.
And
And they are getting the engineering work, right, to be able to bid it out. I mean, basically, you'd roll it back probably at least another year.
Depending on how fast the real estate. So I will present options. I'll get a couple of different properties that we discussed, and no time loss except for mine. So,
I think the owner lives in South Carolina. I think his name's Tony Mack.
it is.
Tony,
And I do know that they do run some snow plow removal in the winter time over there.
okay.
Also services.
There's a Kenny Rogers song that comes to mind.
All right.
I just like to see the rescue squad take care of it. No matter what.
If we're,
Out of four-way area, that could be a good area to put in. But yeah, that thing's falling in. I can see holes right through the walls.
But I also think Director Saline needs to be involved in the whole thing, just kind of like Chief was
Right.
in there. I mean, if we don't have their buy-in, we can put them in the nicest building we can. It's not good.
Anybody else?
Shifting topics just a little bit, but you're talking about what additions could be added to the whole vision. Looking at off of exit 1 and potentially developing that area, I was talking to Glenn just before the meeting. You know, our industrial park has a bunch of rock on it. I'm not sure why that was the location for it, but, and this is kind of a question proposed to the whole room, in terms of future development, like where can businesses settle? What land do we have? You know, what does that look like over the next 5 years for real estate that we could either acquire and prepare, or real estate that we already have that we can better improve? You know, some of the land that we do already own, like is not included in this, which would be, you know, the opposite side of the Wayfair. We've got that green space. We've got the Tazewell Today property that they own. There's a collaboration opportunity there for that space. But in being forward thinking, what spaces could we utilize and add to this planning?
Long John Silver's.
Mac's pretty fond of that space down there, but I agree with you. You know, in the current comprehensive plan, the old food line has a fantastic drawing for what it could be. But I think the acquisition of that's going to be the hard part.
One of the things we talked about in our meeting was that we did request direction with the Rainy lot. We agree, I think it's been talked about before, that it's an eyesore now, so I think that we are in agreement of you guys setting our direction. Like if it's soccer fields, I think we would like to be able to work with the planning district, you know, scope out what grant opportunities we want to go after and actually start achieving that. Or, you know, if at one point in time we were going to sell it, at one point in time I think that we haven't also pursued getting a business to come, right? Like we haven't done that yet, but just, we really want direction so that that is no longer blight as you drive into town.
Hell, I was wanting the pickleball courts to put up for, you're gonna get older now, I'm telling you, that would be a good place to go have pickleball.
One of the things that we've seen with Tazewell today, with a planning grant with the green space that Zach talked about, is the big green lot on Main Street being parking, the bottom of it being parking and having a pickleball court that's there, and perhaps a small outdoor park, because as now the Traveler has been developed, having an opportunity for some recreation right directly behind the Traveler that is also not blight. I don't know if you guys have been on Main Street lately, but we do have like an access and parking problem. And so having public parking and perhaps maybe even having a smaller, like a shelter at the bottom that has a bathroom, because right now the only public bathroom space is that one that's under the Altizer stage. And so that will help with the summer events, and if we have a pickleball court in that space, there's a bathroom that can be used there too.
What about the pavilion? Can one be put down there?
A pickleball court at the pavilion? I don't know. I think it's all parking lot.
At the, what pavilion, the North Tazewell?
North Tazewell.
We also have 2 pickleball courts at the Warhawk
We're
Park.
just gonna
Well,
pepper
last
the
time we
town with pickleball.
When the
courts.
mayor, ex-mayor, said there's one down at the Mohawk Park. Warhawk, I don't care. Anyway, I went down and they don't have a net.
They do not have a net yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Our partner, each one was to provide the nets.
Yeah, I don't know, this is,
I wanted to make a comment. Just one of the things in the various Main Street stuff that I've been going to, one of the things that was suggested, I don't even remember which one it was, but they talked about the possibility of a vacant property tax that would maybe encourage these property owners that are sitting on lots of great property that could be developed into something that if they have to pay a vacant property tax, that maybe they would be more proactive into either developing it or selling it or doing something with it.
You can't tell a man what to do with his property as long as he's paying his taxes.
No, you can't tell them, but if you have a vacant property tax, that might encourage them.
So for IEDA purpose, it could fall into your lap, it could maybe at the old food line property, I don't know. But I had a conversation with Team Venture in Richlands, and they want to come here.
What is it?
Who is it?
It's the Team Venture. It's not the people who used to own it, but they have new owners, and they want to branch out, which they have a skate park in there and some other things. So I
I
think
reached
it
out to a
fits.
bigger company about maybe coming to the Rainy lot for something like that. I think having an additional entertainment option so that as we have people coming to town for multiple different reasons, they have other activities, right? If we develop Lincolnshire, we have mountain biking, we already have Back of the Dragon. Having an additional entertainment venue sounds like a good
But she
strategy.
doesn't want a skate park anymore. She wants something different, which was kind of on the lines of your thoughts.
A trampoline park.
Kind of. So, but she said she's very interested in coming here.
Cool.
I would love that. My kids go there.
Have they not
on
been at
Wednesdays
odds
right
down
now.
there with Team Venture for years?
Huh?
It's great.
It's different group. They're
Different
yeah.
group.
It's a local owner now. So her dad owns Clinch River Farms. So it's no outsiders. It's none of that hoopla anymore. It's a different owner.
Do they want an available building, or are they interested buildings.
They would like it available.
Okay.
I know that was good.
Well, I mean, they would rent, so, I mean, if that one building on top would kind of fit their vision, you would have a building.
You know, what could be a good building is behind Advanced Auto. It
The old
was,
food line.
yeah,
Yeah. Just gotta get back to
Mac, let's talk to Mac.
peace out with it.
yeah.
Well, I'm looking at something like a go-kart, like up in Withville, right across from the state police headquarters.
The place closed down.
They closed it down.
Oh, it's
It's
been
been closed for several years.
And the little investment club.
Anybody know what the reason is?
Yeah, I just don't think that there's enough business and they were on the interstate.
That's heavy traffic.
Well, it's a good location for it, but you're looking at a seasonal activity for the most part.
Kind of like pickleball outside.
Danny,
Leanne, what about the theater?
Oh, we just had an update about that.
Yes.
She thinks she'll be open in May. She showed pictures of all the progress. She gave a great update at 5 o'clock. Yeah, the theater designer is coming in January, and then 6 to 9 weeks per theater. Yeah, 3 theaters, 2 with 63 seats, and then 1 is gonna have the option for a community stage.
63 powered reclining seats.
Yes.
we might add.
In theater 1.
With the bar upstairs.
Bar upstairs, mezzanine. We saw photos.
Opportunities from food from the VIP room.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like she's also brought up recommendations that are gonna be going on in Fort Wood, so I think that'll be, next year is gonna be pretty good if this timeline works out between the pavilion,
Yeah.
cinema,
Yeah.
medical center.
Not bringing
Maybe
it
some
up.
out making,
Yeah.
Leanne,
I guess it's time to move forward.
maybe on a smaller scale, but completion of projects that's ongoing. But if we can just get small projects done and get them off the table, I think will attract, be an attractive win for us. Even though they may be small wins, it's a win.
I agree with that. That's one of the things, like, when we talked about, like, the philosophy behind, what we're aiming at, Corky Mountain Town comes up in that, because we do have increased traction from meals tax revenue and trans occupancy tax, and we got the data to back it up that we are annually gaining more visitors. We've got a little bit of an angle on it with the sidewalks, but like a deliberate effort towards beautification and finishing up those projects, I think that'll go a long way to getting repeat customers. Now,
What about out there at the Sheep Park? I know we talked about doing a ADA compliant park. I know there's a grant.
We didn't get the grant for that.
Is that something we can expect?
Inclusion, it was an inclusion playground. We didn't get selected. It's something that we could apply for again. If you all would like, I will do some research and find out when that grant will come out.
That may be something we can address and capitalize on.
Can I go off a little bit, go back?
Sure.
The bike trail, how much you said, what was the price on that one?
We don't have a price yet.
Or,
However, we have
Estimate.
funding of $410,000.
okay. Has the EPA or anybody been out there to look over it?
No,
Pass it.
we haven't went that far yet.
It wouldn't make sense to if you don't have easements yet.
They were finishing up their business today.
Wouldn't tell me that.
She said it earlier.
Get that part. But all that out there, would it be patrolled every day, or would somebody be out there? You're thinking about the closing area time. I'm looking at that, the safety of the people out there. And I know that people from West might come over, well, they can come over if it's in Tazewell, in the town area somewhere. And if somebody will break down on it, I'll be glad. I'll go out and talk to these people, the farmers. Ed Killen, he's got a big property out there that they might be interested in doing this. But when you don't have, I'm the conditions on our water supply, only water supply that's coming to our town water plant, it's free of flow. We don't have no pumps or anything pumping that water on through. Now, it might start out pretty good. Don't get me wrong, it might be good for about a month or two. Then all of a sudden, it's going to start getting bad. Because to patrol that area, and then you get tired of the bike trail, then it goes to something else bigger. Four-wheelers, dirt bikes, something like that. That needs to be looked at before. I don't mind having a bike trail. I like to make sure it's safe and it doesn't cause any problems with our water system. That's why it's been there for so many years. It's because of that safety. And I don't want people to come out there or drive out to visit, to ride. You don't know what they're going to do. Contaminate the water system, cause problems out there that'll mess up the water system. But, you know, it needs to be looked at real close before we decide to do something like this. It's been like this from...
Well, we're still looking at all that, we're still in the planning phase on all that. We will look at all that.
Who's in the planning phase? All of us, or just through? Well, I'm not getting any information on this issue.
It's
We
out
can't
there.
go
We're-
forward
But
because
we're,
there's
We don't have
easements
easements,
yet.
right? You're thinking of Z and we're on A.
So
but
I-
we had a long conversation about this. This is for a future meeting. We've got a timeline that we need to get working to finish this meeting here, but we will revisit that in the future.
But I will assure you that none of us in this room want any harm to come to that water source. And it would absolutely be taken into consideration when doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good water system. So if it gets damaged, it'll be on there. I mean, patrol area, how can you patrol that area out there at Grant? And you got police officers here in town, Tazewell. Do they go out to that location to check it?
I'm sure that we could have some system to patrol and some way that we will make sure that our users would be
The only thing I'm seeing is state and county in the town area. But how can they do all that? It's a lot of pressure on these officers.
Again, we need to move on.
Hey, one last item I'm interested in seeing in the comprehensive plan is, and I just don't know a lot about it, so maybe it gets squashed later on, but do we have any deliberate efforts at recycling? If not, why? Like, is that something that we can?
I do know that there was a problem with plastics. They don't take them anymore.
I know and see, it's the transportation, the distance. I think Dr. Francisco was telling me just on the Tennessee side, like there's a big, I can't remember the name of the outfit, but because a new recycling center had been established there, which is where he takes his Red Bull cans, he asked why doesn't our municipality have anything like that?
Okay.
I just don't know if that's a line of effort that, makes us a more green town, I'm into conservation, that's something I'd be interested in.
We can learn more together.
Sure.
Anybody else, or we'll move on to financial review? So our outstanding debt, as you all know, we just received our audit. It was an unmodified opinion, which is the highest you can get. So very good congratulations to my treasurer. And she has provided a list of outstanding debt as of October the 13th. So it's a month out. However, you can see, these are all the loans that we have currently, what the loan is for, the origination date, frequency of payment, the payment amount, interest rates, and when the payoff is expected. Right now this does not include our does not include our wastewater treatment plant. I don't don't see the Route 460 one on here. We haven't begun having to pay on these loans, that's why they're not included. However, we know that they are very forefront. We're just not having debt on them as of yet. We won't until the project's finished. So, anybody have any questions on debt?
Is that 3.2?
3.228.
Yes.
And then that will increase, well, correct me on this one. All right, so the water line, what those, is this just general fund? And
This
with
is
the,
everything.
so everything combined? And then the total cost on those two other projects, so are we closer to
One
5
of
or
them,
6?
one of them would be 1.2.
Yeah.
So Tazewell County PSA is a 50-50 partner, so it's $650 for us, $650 for them. The sewer treatment plant would be $15.5. That is 60% us and 40% them. I don't have the number on that right off the top of my head, but I'm going to,
I thought it was like 3.5.
9.3 is 60% of 15.5.
okay. So that would be us, fair share.
At the back page of the audit report, they, it's close to the back. I don't know if we got a copy of that with us. I might have it. But in terms of our, so your legal allowable limit for debt is a percentage of your total property values. And it's kind of like one of the ways in comparing municipalities is I had to look at like your debt position. But I still think that keeps us underneath 10% of our legal debt limit. I'm sorry, that might not be the most effective use of time. Maybe we can come back to it.
Sorry, I thought I might be able to find it real quick.
It might be on the audit rather than the summary that they gave us. Yeah.
All right. I'll get that number and verify.
Okay.
Okay, anything else on outstanding debt?
And on the Route 460 water line
Yes.
thing, are you guys gonna hopefully contract that out?
I don't think that we're gonna be able to do that because we have signed agreements with Virginia Department of Health. It's called a force account, which is they will provide funds for the materials. However, we have to do the labor. We don't get reimbursed on any of that labor.
Do you have the personnel to do it? I mean, you know, that project out there, Pincaster, I don't need to tell you about that, but that was a mess.
It was.
And, I mean, I don't wanna see the town going to do that again.
So the personnel was not the issue with the project. It was material, supply and demand kind of issues. There were things that were beyond air control that happened, and it just kind of snowballed and created a problem. But it was not a town staff related incident,
I knew you were limited with town employees.
right?
You have a major issue, something happens, and you have to pull those men off and go to something else. I mean, some of the business was kind of upset,
I understand.
and they had a right to be in. I figured if we get a contractor to do it, they would set a date and a completion date to complete it to be done.
I don't think that we have that option right now
Okay.
because of the agreements in place. Okay. So let's look at where we are financially. This is our account balances as of last Tuesday. You'll see the ones with the green arrows beside of it. Those are funds that we could possibly use or are using for some of these projects that we discussed tonight. Such as, one of them says LGI Sports Complex. This was where our revenue recovery funds went. We currently have 1.6 million remaining in that fund. Waste plant upgrade, we had Several years ago, we began to raise rates and have rate increases. That way we could plan for our debt service payments. The LGIP 460 water account, that's the same thing. We raised rates in water to begin preparing for our debt service payments. And we did set aside $350,000 for mountain biking in its own separate account. So those were the funds that we have that could be allocated to some of these projects. Such as if we were to receive grants and they needed a match, we would have some funds that we would be able to put toward a match for that.
What about that LGIP hotel? The 12,000. What was it? I mean, I know what it.
Several years ago, there was a company that was going to put a hotel on Main Street, and they had to give us a deposit that they were going to do said project. They did not, and we got to keep their money.
That was the in-kind funds that was discussed. So what's the game plan with that? I mean, can we reallocate that to?
We can reallocate, or we can find a hotel somewhere else.
We got
I
the
mean,
travel.
what we've talked about in multiple meetings this year, like, I think the best way to operate would be to line up your game plan and then obligate the funds so you've got a benchmark to press forward with. Because if we give you tasks and say, hey, we would love to see sidewalks, but we don't obligate any funds to it, it's like, it's make-believe, it's not real. And we know that these funds are limited, so which is why it's so important that everybody's meeting here and collaborating as leaders of the town. That's my recommendation, what to do with that. After we get a comprehensive plan set, then obligate your funds, and then press forward. Have your earmarks lined up for how well you're going to manage it and get it done.
I absolutely agree. Does anybody have any more questions about account balances? If not, we will go to our pro forma budgets. So this is just what could be of your budgets. I have FY 26, 27, 28, and 29 prepared. And throughout, I'm not going to go through each and every one of these line by line. However, okay, just like this, you see that I have $40,000 in the 26, 27 budget year for mountain biking maintenance. I want to kind of go back to the top. And again, I'm not going to go line by line unless you guys just ask me to.
Is a copy of any of this available to the public, like the town? Anybody?
So
No.
to release something like this, I feel that it would need to have a vote to approve from council before we would release anything like that. And we're not ready to do anything like that just yet.
But I think the point we're getting at with this is showing that you're always working on your budgets 3-4 years ahead.
Right.
And the comprehensive plan, our goals in the comprehensive plan play into what your estimated budget is, so you can make your plan and work through it.
So here we have revenue coming in for mountain biking activities. We have revenue coming in for if someone want to advertise on the fire department side. We discussed that just a little bit. It's things like that I try to build in.
I saw a line item in there, Leanne, about the YMCA. Does the town subsidize the YMCA?
Cigarette
A
tax.
portion of our cigarette expense go to the YMCA as a donation.
Gotcha.
So it's not,
It's not a subsidy, it's,
right.
right. But
Again, I'm just kind of going down through here. I think I have these. Okay, something else that we have talked about. Now, this was not in the comprehensive plan, but it's something that we're planning for. It's going to be our police cruisers. We have done a lease with Enterprise to try and alleviate some of the vehicle maintenance problems that we've been having.
You know, speaking of vehicles, we didn't talk about budgeting for a fire truck, you know, $1.3 million fire truck.
Yeah, that was not a comprehensive plan, but a budget work session. Yes, so I wanted him to present to you all so you know it's coming. But here is expense line items in our recreation department. Upkeep for the mountain biking. We had discussed about Aqua Park inflatables, putting new inflatables to kind of season out retire the seasoned ones. So I have put that into every one of these budgets. I'm looking for sidewalk. Here was another $13,000 for sidewalk maintenance. And maybe we do allocate other funds to that. And that's an absolute possibility that we could do. Okay. So this is 2728. I recommend that we start looking at our fees and what we charge for rentals. I think that we are very reasonable compared to some of our neighbors.
Since it's on the screen, I wanted to bring up, when you were talking about the primitive camping sites at Lincolnshire, you could do, I mean, I know it's $5, but you could do $20 a night. And as far as what you had, that costing for construction, it's primitive camping. You put a sign up, this is site number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5.
But we
There's
have to build
no,
a road to get emergency services vehicles out there.
yeah. I was party to an extraction off the Aqua Park a couple years ago. And I know we have side-by-sides out there. Are the primitive camping sites gonna be along the same side of that?
Very great question. I'm actually really glad you asked. Okay, so I'm going to educate you guys on some dam safety. Dam
Is this on the
safety.
Z pattern or A pattern?
What?
Go ahead.
Okay,
I've got A to Z, and I'm trying to figure that out.
okay.
It was a good
Um,
one.
Go ahead. Shut up, Danny.
So you all know that our Lincolnshire Dam, we have to get it inspected every year. And we have to meet regulations with DCR, such as like spillways. That parking lot that's up top is a spillway for the dam. We are not able to do anything on the dam. So I do not think that we would be able to get a road unless we went all the way around the lake over to that side. So my recommendation, if we do primitive camping, we stay on the left side. And it's gonna take environmental work because that is water source right there.
The good news is though, you have decent road on
We
that
do.
side already. It wouldn't take
We do.
much to make it accessible.
Right.
Unfortunately, the cool primitive camping spots are on the other side of the lake from there, yeah.
But that was a very good question. So thank you for asking that. So yes, rental spaces, rental fees, pool parties, that type of thing. I do think that we should look at upping those. And again, this is not till 2027, 2028. However, I can tell you that our stuff books up. Like pool parties, they will book up in 26 or 27. So if it's something that we're thinking of doing, we need to know that kind of ahead of time. How are we doing, Susan?
6:35.
Okay, we're rolling, we're good. So just as I had revenue there, again, there's our police cruisers. Here's our maintenance and expense for those type of things. I did squeak it in here, $90,000 for primitive camping. That would be to build the road, get engineering and environmental, and to construct it. I just estimated about $3,000 for each campsite by the time you level it out and get your supplies. So the point is that I'm doing all this is to say that I don't want us doing something here that we can't do here. So, do you all want me to continue going over all the budget stuff? I can, I'm not ready to.
Well, I mean, if you, I think the way, or at least the way I present it would be, if you have this laundry list, okay, here's your current funding, this is the debt obligation you would have to do to see all of these through. So are you cool with it, taking on $12 million in debt? And the answer is no, like, right, we don't want to raise taxes, we don't want to take on a lot of debt, right? So it's all about the prioritization of the project. But do you have, based on your pro forma, do you have consideration like that for these
Okay.
projects?
So I can tell you that all of the debt that we have just discussed, that is in here. Route 460 debt is in here, and wastewater treatment plant debt is in here. So all of the ones that we know are right in our face,
Right.
they're in there.
Okay.
Just not your fire truck.
Not fire truck.
So, are we in the red or?
We're budgeted, we're balanced.
Good job.
Good job.
Better than
Good job, guys. Good job, guys.
Good job, you guys.
So if you all would like me to keep going and do sewer fund and water fund, I can. Where we're at time-wise right now, we are not too bad, we're just a little off of going to funding opportunities. To where it won't cost us as much money to do some of these.
My personal opinion is I think we understand that you have it, what we know is in front of us, and you've budgeted loosely for projects that we've already discussed.
Right.
I think we need, at this point, we need to get, all right, what's our priority of these projects
Okay.
so that we can start deciding where we need to trim.
Alright. So I'm gonna pivot from budget and let's go. Possible project funding opportunities. So you guys have heard me talk about all these projects. I would love to be like, let's go do them right now. Every one of them, that would be fabulous. It don't work like that. We have to plan, and we have to financially plan to have all of this stuff happen for us. So how can we make that happen? So sewer access and infrastructure improvement. There's possibilities that we could work with the Virginia Department of Health Office of Drinking Water, or Department of Environmental Quality, and get some grant funds for that. Now, I'm not saying that these will be free dollars. We might have to put some skin in the game to do this, but we have some of that in reserve that we can work with. The lead service line replacement. So that was the one that was EPA mandated, and there is funding out there for that. So we're not going to be in the dark with that either. So the EPA will have funding, and also the Virginia Department of Health Office of Drinking Water will have funding for that also. I do know that Thompson Lit has told me that they can help in applying for those funds. I'm sure that will come at a fee, but Leanne and Susan might try that. So,
I think the key to a project like that is be early adopters to it.
right.
Get in before the money runs out.
First come, first served. Again, sidewalk improvement, I told you a little bit about VDOT, so that could be one of our funding opportunities for that, Castle to Benbolt, and also our North Tazewell area, that could be a possibility. The North Tazewell revitalization, the 1616 Riverside Drive. This was the one that was the possible commercial kitchen, cannery, and Fab Lab. We have had discussion with Cumberland Plateau, and they seem to think that there would be funding opportunities in all of these listed here, such as DHCD, ARC Power, US EDA, and Virginia Go. Early on in our farmer's market project, we talked with Virginia Go, and they were very enthusiastic.
About buying equipment
So,
for community-based space.
right, so if we can get the space and what it's gonna be, that might be a funder for our equipment.
And Jordan Dillon sent me examples of recent EDA funding that's Floyd County has received. That's all about tying workforce development into projects and how that, if we are strategic with how we formulate our narrative, that those are projects that they fund.
So we have very good opportunities for that project. And I think that,
And it may be time sensitive because of when we have received our tobacco commission money, and as long as the town moves forward with this facade improvement grant, because that isn't with the business owners, because our 1616 property is in the block.
and they said we might be able to marry the projects together and use the funding from this as match for funding for this. So that's what she's meaning by time sensitive.
I also feel like, and you guys might have already done this, but I feel like we need to get partnered with Southwest or the technical center.
Yes,
As
I'm waiting
soon
for
as
you all to
possible.
tell me go.
Well,
Well-
if we did the funding very similar, like we talked about moving the funds to projects that we're actually interested in doing, you know, it's time to move on past the sports complex, the hotel. If you go ahead and obligate the funds for the planning for it, and it meets that timeline, like even with, like, in talking about partnering up to go after like ARC Power, Mercer County is currently working on a small business incubator, what is it called again?
Fab Lab.
Fab Lab. It's fabulous. The Fab Lab, like those partnerships are available now, so it could be good to earmark those funds, move it over for the planning.
And I re-asked
Push
the
that
county about their partnership potential, and they said that they would let us know in February because they're new board members and wanting them to get up to speed. So I tried to have a more firm commitment by this meeting, but Tim said that he'd be back in touch.
Is that, and just full transparency, the cost of that thing is gonna be large. If we get to a Fab Lab cannery, like that's gonna be a lot of equipment, a lot of things. The management of the facility would be very difficult. And I feel like there's gonna be a lot of go, no-go points in that project. And we just need to make sure everybody's up to, like, I'm not, if we were to give you guys, say, go get partnered up and go look at it, that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna say, hold on, we gotta pull the cord on this one, because that cost is just gonna be too high, or that's functionally not gonna work. But I do feel like it's worth exploring.
Planning.
The planning.
Planning
piece,
is
yes.
what we
Just-
want to start.
Just like all these other, just like we're doing with the mountain biking and those things, we're exploring the options, but we still need those partners, because that is greatly gonna impact the funding once you get Department of Education and, those kind of folks.
But if we get the green light to start planning, that scopes what can and cannot be done, and who would or would not be interested.
Right.
But we do not want to start planning anything or getting funds to plan something if it's not in the comprehensive plan and something that's going to serve the town long term.
And something else that's very important to maybe to state, when we're doing these comprehensive plans and we're talking about things that are going to be going after grant dollars, it's important for those to be in this comprehensive plan. And that's why these recommendations are to go in there.
These applications without a clean-in plan.
Correct.
Say that again.
If you don't have these projects in your plan, then you're really go after grant funding.
Right. And the other thing that we're trying to do is utilize fodder from folks like Cumberland Plateau Planning District to say, hey, look, you guys said this fits into the regional needs. And we're doing it, so I can see it in that mix.
Okay, moving on to some more projects and more possibilities. The mountain biking project, we have, Jordan Dillon with Cumberland Plateau and I have been, thank you two were copied. We've been talking with Friends of Southwest Virginia. They are interested in getting on board with us. And IMBA, the International Mountain Biking Association, Zach and I have had a couple meetings with them. The Virginia Outdoors Foundation, Forest Corps Fund. So this is something I have just recently learned about, and applications is open right now. So January 14th is when that is due. And again, we have $410,000 to go toward this project. We can use that as matching funds. Department of Conservation and Recreation, DCR. That is another funding agency that we might be able to obtain some grants for mountain biking. So recreational improvements, I just kind of combined all of that in one slide here. Virginia Tourism Corporation, when we were in Richmond, they were discussing that the governor had allocated some funding for recreation. So if we are interested in doing something like that, now would be a great time to pursue it because the governor has allocated funds for it, and it's going to be for the next budget year. That's my understanding, right?
And if you all decide that you want the Ramey lot to be soccer fields, that's something that I'm happy to help do an administrative lift with Leanne and Susan, as I have proven to be able to do to date.
Department of Conservation and Recreation, DCR, the same one I have for mountain biking. And National Recreation Foundation was another opportunity that we might have. $6:48, and at 6:50, we have a roundtable discussion. I think we're doing okay, guys. So, I'm going to open the floor to anybody that would like to speak. And Planning Commission has been awfully quiet, I'm just saying.
Well, I would say, I can't see anything on the screen. I can't say anything, because I can't see anything.
The tuck being old in there.
So, we have a full-time recreation director, right?
Yes.
So what are we paying him to do at this time?
At this time, he is running the ice rink right now. They are going ahead and looking at ordering inflatables for the next season. They have an anchor pattern that they have, and they're trying to coordinate those inflatables with the current anchor pattern that we have, so we don't have to do more. I do wish that you all would visit the ice rink, even if you don't skate. Somebody has visited the ice rink with their family, and they skated, just saying. But Kenny is really, he's doing a great job. He's really trying. He's got volleyball and basketball trying to go up here at the old junior high. That's something that we haven't had in several years.
For what age groups? For what age groups?
Adults, right? Yeah, it's adult. It's co-ed too, isn't it?
So we thought about getting some of our programs back for the kids.
He has asked me.
So I had a citizen, I spoke with a citizen the other day who's heavily involved in several youth sports. And she approached me and she had talked to Kenny, and I think, and I haven't even had a chance to talk to Leanne about this, but I think it would be good if we try to form a committee about possible rec sports committee, in which we could take that committee and look at expanding our role as a rec sports provider. We may have to do that differently than we did before. It may need to involve some of the other municipalities. I think we can do that because Little League and Little League football do that now. But I do think we can expand our rec sports footprint I don't think we necessarily have to cannibalize programs that we have now, because I do think programs that we have now serve a purpose, but we can expand, create more revenue for the town, draw more traffic, especially if we partner with the other municipalities, Bluefield and Richlands, and just in county, in Pocahontas, you get people moving around, they're coming to town, you know, picking up dinner on their way out, or whatever, so that's something, I don't know, that may go in here about.
I'd like to volunteer for that committee if it exists. When I was in school, the town did rec sports, and as someone who has moved back, I have noticed a decline in the quality of training and refereeing that is available. I think that not just the standard of refereeing, but like how we control the crowd as it relates to the refereeing. Like there's just a cultural reset that I think would be really important, because Richie Taylor taught me how to do a drop step and box out and stuff, and that was not through the Y, right? Like, so I just think that there's a better opportunity. I think it's worth revisiting, and I'm not someone who has children. I just have participated in coaching and the atmosphere and organization, like, you know, from an outside view.
I do know that he would be very open to that.
I think rec sports is a foundation for our,
Amen, it's a feeder program.
absolutely.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the wild programs, they serve a purpose, I know. But, you know, our young kids, like you said, it is a feeder program, you have to teach them competition. And you gotta teach them at the end of an hour, we're all still friends and family. But you have to teach them competition. And our sports programs, since we've given our programs to the Y, they've gone down. I feel so sorry for our girls, it's unreal. But they've never been shown.
As somebody that coaches in those programs and is a part of those programs, I would say it's not necessarily the Y's fault as much as it is the quality of volunteers that you get at all levels, whether it's coaches, refs, all of it. It takes a lot of people to make that happen.
Who's on the Y committee?
Huh?
Who's on the Y?
I'm on the Y committee.
Okay, who else? Anybody else?
Felicia. And here, Larry.
Who?
Larry.
Hey, Larry.
And it does me again?
He's just gonna say.
Couldn't see you way over there.
As we say, the line's falling.
Do what?
The line's falling on certain sports.
No, we're not saying
No,
that.
I'm not saying
We're just
that.
saying we need to look at other avenues, that's all.
Right. There's just a need to supplement what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like if we compare to other communities, speaking from the position of a parent with sports age children, other communities have access to sports programs year round, so they have summer basketball leagues and such, and our children don't have access to that, though we have lots of facilities in town that could support such a thing.
Wise participation.
Everybody thinks it's gonna be real.
Right.
Well,
They're not learning.
I do have something I want to say, but not about this subject, and this subject's over, I'd like to say something about something different.
It's also a cultural thing, right? Everybody's got these now, where kids aren't playing outside like we used to.
I just remember I was a referee, and I had a mandated class where I had to go and stand and learn the rules, and we had a level of professionalism with being, and I was a high school kid, right? But that doesn't exist, you know?
I do know that Kenny has talked about doing like some sports camps in the summertime. So I really think that he would be very open to all. Yes.
Going back to fundamentals, our kids high school kids don't know how to dribble a basketball. I mean, when I was on the police department many years ago, I refereed and I also coached with the rec league before the Y came in. These kids, we taught them how to dribble a ball, how to pass, bounce pass, how to shoot a foul shot. These kids today, my cousin's little boy out there, I thought they was playing football. Because he was running with the ball and one kid went up and tackled it, and I was like, this is basketball. They don't teach these kids And the rec did, because Brad and I talked about that a couple of months ago.
Well,
We
actually,
played on the basketball team, we were made to take the kids.
Brad coached one of the best basketball players to come from our area, Omar Reed. I can remember, Brad coaching him, he'd always be late. I had to go get him, But Brad handled him, and look where he ended up.
All because of me.
Good job,
Well,
Brad.
Well, I take that back to the comments that I made earlier. A lot of that's it's not the why.
It's not, like I
You
said,
have training the trainer situation.
yeah, we're not throwing stones at the wall, we're just saying another avenue.
Right, no, and that's,
You're just making a need.
More opportunity.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we need to move forward.
Discipline is important. We don't have a lot of discipline anymore.
That's true.
To rope this into, like, now I'm with you 100%. I think that, like, after the soccer season I just went through with the kids, it's like, we need to change something. This could be a positive change that puts it underneath our control. But in regards to facilities, because the concept of utilizing the Ramey lot for multi-use, soccer fields gets tossed around a lot, but multi-use fields, do we have enough fields? Should we just improve the current fields that we do have? Because that's a major expense on Lincolnshire, and I'd love to see it improved. Is that spreading ourselves too thin by taking on new facilities? Should you expend money that way, or just focus on one and then level up your programs within that one facility?
Well, I think if you're gonna do it, we need to look at renovating Lincolnshire Park. And for years, they were multi-use fields. So if we fix the drainage on the upper field and the lower field's usable, then you'll have 2 soccer fields there.
And the soccer field, it's not big enough, like the image that was shown, in its current condition, it's not big enough for U18 soccer.
Right.
Even back in our day, when we were playing ball there, we were playing in dirt infields for corner kicks. And you hope that it didn't rain, because then you're in a mud pit. And that's the only time I've had quicksand be an issue in my life. But thought it was going to be a big problem. But yeah, because we got a decision to make on whether or not we're going to use a Ramey lot for that. I'm an advocate for that, because I think that it's a green space. It's probably lower cost to do that, but still you're taking on a liability because you got to upkeep it, right? So it's not a trivial expense to the town over the long haul. It gets rid of the eyesore.
Can I say something along that line too?
Yeah.
I did reach out to a bigger brand about having like a trampoline park at the Ramey lot. It didn't go anywhere, we were too small. But one of the things that Jordan at the planning district came up with, reminded me of, is that we are in a floodplain. So even if I do recruit a business to come to this lot, there is the element of it being well within the floodplain. And so I know that even when you all were gonna have the sports complex, or councils passed, we're gonna have a sports complex, there was an element of engineering that went into making the Ramey's lot usable. And so I think that while we're talking about the Ramey's lot, whether you all decide, yes, it's sport fields or not, I think that we need to consider, if we want a business to come in, they already have to have venture capital to build a new building. They also, I doubt that they're gonna wanna front the cost to do the engineering work to make it a usable space for,
yeah, and I know, I remember in those discussions, there was floodway versus floodplain, and there was an area to back from, if I'm looking at it from the road, the back left was more susceptible. It was in, Brad, you can tell me, floodway, which was the more dangerous one. Everything we discussed building was in the acceptable build area, but the advantage of putting a multi-use field there in that space is, number one, it's multi-use. If you don't have buildings or structure, you don't have to worry about that. Now, you may have to worry about anchoring a few things down, but that would be two, if something were to come in and decide they want that space later and to build on it, you've got a grass lot there and a flat space. We're just using what's available to us at this point. So I think a multi-use, and you could even throw a pickleball court next to the multi-use field.
Dave's in, he's in.
But I think that's a good use, immediate use, short turnaround, relatively cheap. You don't have to worry about
Visible.
visible improvement. And I don't see the need of any structure other than possibly a bathroom, right? And maybe some benches. And you could get a lot of use out of that, a track. And going back to the Lincolnshire, the upgraded Lincolnshire fields, I think one of the problems that has gotten Lincolnshire into the shape it is that it was a multi-use field for so many years. Because playing soccer on it 20-some years ago, you knew that if it went over center field and it was a wet day, the ball was going to stop where that center fielder stands because it was a bare spot. And there's swags, you can see the baseball, softball fields versus the soccer fields. And it's not good for anybody to give it time. It'd be great at first, but over time that's going to erode and it's going to wear itself away. So I think it's going to the Raines lot and putting a multi-purpose setup out there is a great start. And to me, I would do it first. I know you've already got Lincolnshire there, but if you get that multi-use out of Lincolnshire, then whenever you do redo Lincolnshire, it's smooth sailing from there. You don't have.
And we have the money for it, right?
There's funds available.
We haven't done the planning on it to see how much that would cost.
No, I saw it up there, the money's in the bank.
Make it 4%.
If you all want to allocate some of those funds.
No, it was for the complex, right?
Oh.
Oh.
LGIP.
So we have the
Outdoor
money.
complex.
Yeah.
Not outdoor, the sports complex.
LGIP money.
Yeah. See that in there?
That's
1.6.
I think that's
So you could vote to start it,
Yeah.
could you not?
Yes.
If
All right,
council
there it
agrees.
is. We've been sitting on this for 6 years.
Yes.
6 years. The money's there.
Why? You can get the money back to cook.
That's long enough.
Well, I'm just saying, the money's there.
Danny was playing.
We've been sitting on it, keep on around on it, make a decision
I like it.
for your residents.
Yep.
Motion.
You guys are voting.
Huh?
You guys
Make a
are
motion.
We'll set the vote for our
But,
council.
I mean, let's
This week.
let's get our priority list down. And it sounds
Is
like
that
that.
not a priority?
I think, to me, I think that's a great place to start.
Yes, I agree. But yeah, put it all in order and is definitely, I mean, I think we could do that.
Well, yeah, you can't be scared. I mean, like you say, you've been sitting on this for years.
Dude, I've been talking about these soccer fields for like, I've been here. So I'm ecstatic that
Well, yeah.
we
You
would pivot.
do it and put it out there for the citizens, you're doing something with their own too.
I mean, that's what this discussion's all about.
That's
Lynn-
right.
Leanne,
Yay.
just said you're gonna take this and
It's
we'll
our
move
day.
forward with that, right? I mean, first thing is we're gonna have
Can we throw a skate park?
to do PAR, right?
We're gonna have to find out how much it's gonna cost.
Yeah.
We know how much we got.
You know?
Don't tell them that part.
I've
You've been in business long.
Don't tell them that.
It's gonna cost a lot of dirt and some grass seed.
Okay,
I'll
dig it.
build it for you.
so, Larry, I have not forgot you.
Okay.
You wanted to say something.
Well, if everybody's through with that subject, my idea of what the planning commission does mainly is make sure that the information we send to council improves Tazewell with the housing, the businesses that we have coming in, that they meet and are obligated to do the things so that we are a nice looking town. That's basically what I think a lot of our job is. And I have a real problem when I go around town and I see our street signs bent over sideways, the signs bent down to the ground, and you have trash everywhere. We have people just putting their trash out on the side of the road, and it gets blown out all over the place. And I'm thinking, we want to present this town as a beautiful place to be. Now, I will say, I went over to Pulaski. I had to be over there for a doctor's appointment, and I drove through that town, and it was absolutely beautiful. So I know it can be done. There was no trash, everything looked good. If we want to have a good town, we need to take care of the little things. These are not things that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. These are things that just require wanting to do. And I think that's important because, as I say, the planning commission, we try to send you the stuff so that you're getting the best possible presentation of what we want these people to do to make this town look good. And we fall down on all the little things. And I think that's important that we need to start taking care of them because they don't cost us, it doesn't cost a lot.
We have lots of little trash cans on the poles down Fincastle, but there are none in North Tazewell.
Well, I know that one thing that Tazewell today and us talked about was the wayfinding signs and a possible grant to upgrade the wayfinding signs because they are very faded.
Now, I don't know what you can do. I don't know what you can do about trash receptacles for individuals here in this town, but it seems like only about half the people have trash cans. The rest of them just put them out the side of the road, and then whenever we have a windstorm,
Well, we
I
discussed that a few
I was
times.
going up the old road, going up the old towers there on, whatever that street was from my house. And I had to stop in the middle of the road. There were 2 bags of trash sitting in the middle of the road.
That was on Dogwood, yeah.
Dogwood on Thursday.
I mean, just sitting in the middle of the road, and I stopped and
So
got
we didn't
them,
get the message
picked
that
them and took them out.
Thanksgiving was a pickup day.
The place, we need to make people more responsible. I don't care, whatever it takes, we just let them throw trash everywhere. They throw it in the back of their truck and it blows out right here in town or over in the county.
So we discussed that a couple town council meetings ago, and there is, the code says that you're supposed to put it in a trash can with the lid when you set it out for service. Yeah. No earlier than 9 p.m. the night before, right? And we might need a little bit more enforcement on that piece, but we even discussed looking into supplying trash cans, just like, like some of the other
The whole idea is that we have a beautiful town, but we gotta take care of it, and we're not.
So Larry, where you at on tiny house?
They're beautiful.
Where are you at on tiny house?
He's not in.
I'm not speaking on that tonight.
He's pleased.
Good answer.
Right now, I think there's certain regulations, right now, they don't meet the regulations.
But do you think certain areas could have a nice tiny house instead of blight? Have you ever seen an ugly tiny house?
I've never even seen a tiny house.
Oh, okay. Many people
Danny,
have.
that's something that we brought up, but I think it requires some changes in the code of the town. And until the council, you say, Leanne, why aren't we doing this? You're the guys that are supposed to be doing all this stuff.
Well, I'm
She
trying to
just-
get one, I'm trying to get a tiny house to show us
Well, you
exactly what it is.
Well, I have no problem with tiny houses, but the rules and regulations have what they already do.
Right.
Right now, they don't.
All right, so I got 3 votes right there, I'm good.
Well, Dan, you know what's interesting on the tiny
Conflict
houses?
of interest.
What's that?
Is even when you go to the state code and you look at the requirements for what goes into a comprehensive plan, there's actually language in there about tiny houses.
It's good.
So But that's, I do want to,
But you have nothing about it currently in your comprehensive plan.
well, it's just
Hard
hard
like I
to say.
said, you're wanting to put it in.
All the time
Yeah,
is
no,
less than 400 square feet, it still has to be built to
The specs and code. I mean, I think there's something to the mobility issue she was talking
And it's
about.
gotta meet setbacks.
Can we hang out on housing for just a second?
But you don't have a
Housing?
zoning for it right now.
Just
You
go
don't have a
around,
use.
Robin,
That's what I need.
but
I mean, a house is a house. God.
hanging out on the housing topic, you know, one of the things we said that if you go to the state code, look at the requirements for what's supposed to be in the comprehensive plan, having a plan for housing is in there, and we haven't touched on it. And we said collectively as a board, maybe we're not equipped to really go after that, whether it be real estate, you know, property that we have. But what about on the housing element, and it's already in our current comprehensive plan, is the demolition of, Ms. Emily brought up having a vacant housing fee, but, and it'll come down to the budget. Where does that fit into our plan for increasing opportunity for housing, right? You take a dilapidated house, clean it off, you tear it down, there's a new space available to build upon. Like, is that within the purview of what we can get accomplished over the next 5 years? And make a deliberate effort towards demolition of vacant houses, old houses? What do you think
For
of the houses?
example, the lot that we tore the house down at North Tazewell, right down the side of the road, the Blackwood property. So if you come in there and say you put an 800 square foot tiny house, town water, town sewer, you can put your electrical underground, is that not a great spot?
Yes.
Exactly. But you gotta open yourself up and look at it. It doesn't have to be a 2,500 square foot mansion.
And it fits with how Marion has their BAUD program. Marion does something like this. We talked with Marion 2 years ago about how they got started on that path.
The difference is the setback. You told me it had to be 55 foot from the center line.
For R1.
So you go, right. But is that not R1 there?
What are we talking
The Blackwood
Riverside
property that
Drive.
we tore down.
Besides the school.
down there.
Beside North
North Tazewell
Tazewell.
School.
Where's your map?
Oh, yeah.
It's either R1 or R2.
That's R2.
Probably R2. That's
So-
2.5.
The front of that house was not 55 foot because I used to own it.
It's grandfathered in, Dan. That's
Yeah, but what I'm
1967.
saying, if we want to go back there, can we not get some leeway?
You gotta ask for variance.
BZA.
You ain't got a variance.
Through the planning commission?
BZA, Board of Zoning Appeals.
Okay, I can't spell these.
You were on that.
Old lady.
I'm pretty sure you were on that.
They just,
But that's what I'm saying. A property like that, we just tore down a dilapidated structure, we gotta look at maybe somebody buying that property at a tax sale and being able to do something a little different. And right now, we're not.
But circling back to what Zach was saying, should we put removing blight housing buildings in our comprehensive plan?
Yes.
I mean, it's in there
already.
but like, where do we prioritize it? I think that line item is probably $25,000 to $55,000 a year. I don't know. If you only
Chris,
take-
can you give an update on what you
Does
have
none
done
of that fall
within
back
last
on the
year?
owner?
I don't want to.
Can you give an update on your demo?
Well,
Done?
it's tearing it down.
How many?
Sorry. for
Like, how many do you plan to do?
Yeah.
How many have you done this past year? How many do you plan to do in a year?
Riverside Drive,
Enough to keep it from being.
Hill Street,
Caroline,
car line across from,
Head Start.
Head Start.
entertainment.
Henry Tatum's was burnt.
Henry's house.
He came in here trying to do something about
Or
it.
Waddle House.
That, I didn't do it.
These were all done this year.
Anthony Grills tore down the wall house on Fincastle, before he got a thing. That was starting to down
It looks so much better than it did 20 years ago. Now, there's the outhouse. Put the door open,
Right.
see the toilet. Drop it.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday. That's okay.
There's 5 of them.
Henry Street.
So, and we're within budget of what we've planned a year. I mean, like, do we choose properties based on, like, you've got? How does that process work? Do you come and you present, like, I want to do like 5 houses, and then you're like, you know that going into budgeting?
And he will do all the building code, all the building visuals. He has to present it to the planning commission, and then it comes up to you all.
This is something you would actually yeah, Tom.
You know, when they say, as
Railroad ambulance. Corner railroad.
Excuse me.
I personally, I think 5 houses a year is
Well,
pretty good.
well, I guess that's my question is that the line of effort that our sole focus is towards housing, is that adequate? Should we do anything to deviate from that current path? Is there more? I mean, we had Connie Patterson interested in working on housing projects. Where are we at as a community in terms of housing? Are we at?
Personally, I think this is my personal opinion. I think we need removing blight and creating opportunity spaces is well within our capability and everything. I feel like there's enough housing programs through the state and federal programs to address those situations. I feel like it's too big of an issue for the town to take on, too expensive of an issue for the town to start taking on.
Okay.
I think, personally.
and $900 a month is not low income housing.
Nope.
These houses I told him, you would not want to walk through. You'd be scared of falling through the floor.
Oh, and I don't doubt that one bit. That's on, if you can recognize 5 of those a year, the town, I think the town's doing its part to clean those out, and they're creating space for people to build.
Houses before I came home.
In the last 15 years, I can say, that's what I'm saying, Dave. And like the planning, to the planning commission, to Chris, there's town managers, have made a market improvement, getting rid of a lot of these properties. Slowly but surely making it happen. It didn't happen pre-2000. Didn't happen. So the last 25 years, it happened.
You got a lot of house greens coming down.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a few more I can put on the
Well, part of the reason for bringing up the house, like, and that's, I took that from town manager May from Richlands when he came and spoke. There's this question to the governor. He's like, can we get more funding? Can we get more state funding to help tear down houses? Because it's a whole lot cheaper to build on a flat surface than it is to build on a hillside. So they need to tear down houses. And, I mean, West Virginia, Governor Justice spent considerable state dollars towards assisting these lower income counties with that. But if that's where we are on it, okay. I want to hijack it for one more. In terms of emergency planning and flood mitigation, the folks on Blacksburg Street, I've talked with them twice, and they've kind of taken their issues more so to the county than they have to us. But we were also talking about the Ranger lot, what's the street? Just past the Ranger lot, shoots up that way.
Buckhorn, going towards Buckhorn.
Harmon Street.
Yeah.
Harmon Street. We got flooding that goes on in that area, pretty significantly. I'm sure there's other, and I'm gonna leave them out.
Until you change the situation at the Farm Bureau building,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a hard time dealing with Blacksburg Street until that's addressed.
So within
You
the
got a
next,
floodgate there, it's pointed out, and they did, there's a barrier, they're not.
Water goes to level, you just can't dig a hole somewhere, it's just gonna fill up with water.
They've taken that floodgate out, that should have mitigated some.
So is there federal money to buy all these houses on Blacksburg Street?
I don't know. But we escaped to lean, we had to run a generator to keep water flowing. Like developing flood mitigation emergency planning into the comprehensive plan, I think makes it a more comprehensive product. Ironic, right? A more comprehensive product, and I wanted to see what you all thought in terms of flood planning? Is that something we build in? Is that something we collaborate with the county on?
I do know that Debbie Milton of Cumberland Plateau has taken on our emergency need, as far as that type of stuff. We had a big meeting, we hosted it actually over at the Legion. There were multiple localities, multiple counties came, and, again, it's the Cumberland Plateau, so it's the 4 county, Tazewell, Russell, Dickinson, and Buchanan. And they are working as far as that type of thing, but locally, your flood mitigation, it needs some work.
I would agree with putting it in a comprehensive plan.
Now, do I at this moment know how to fix it? I do not. Army Corps of Engineer, I know it's been brought up several times, but that is something I would recommend. Yes.
I know we had, the gentleman who came with the issue near the church on Carline, that had flooding down there, and we worked to get that taken care of. And at the same time, we had some folks on Texas Street, and I remember Todd had folks go look at, I know there was DEP issues over there, or FEMA issues, that we were like not allowed to touch any of that on Texas Street, which is the primary reason why all that over around Randy's floods. Now, I don't remember the specifics of why that was. I'm just saying that's out there. I don't know if Todd had any kind of notes on that. And what was the other one we mentioned? Blacksburg. I don't know about that one. Being that, I would assume regulations.
Mr. Taylor? Hey, Mr. Taylor.
Bruce,
You can't hear it, though.
Can't hear us.
he came here, Burgers, you know, Steve.
We need to move forward.
Mr. Taylor, you lived on Blacksburg Street for a long time, haven't you?
Yeah.
What's changed down there? Is the water flooding the whole area, or is it the brush in the water?
It's been the same since I've been there.
We don't have floods when it rains, Dave. I mean, the creek's clear. I own a house on Blacksburg Street.
Oh, you do?
Yes. The creek is clear.
It's clear, but I've seen it flood all the way up to,
It does.
and I had that tree removed from in that water for you.
But it's your hard rains in the spring and summer.
And that's all, yeah, it does.
So the question is, where does it start? It doesn't just start on Blacksburg Street.
It starts right there on the right side going in, down to the bottom. It used to be, and then it goes out to the end, and the end comes out this way.
Never flood.
Across from the call.
But the blowing out of the water in our lifetime is never
Flood.
Never
It's never
flooded.
flood.
Why is that?
Yeah,
It's because of the farm here we built.
yeah.
I'm not really fixated on a particular street, but
Well, we are, so this,
I'm trying to move on the conversation. But flood planning, emergency planning, there needs to be an element to this comprehensive plan that addresses those concerns.
Yes.
We have a floodplain ordinance in effect now. Town code that we go. Nothing can be built in a floodplain, which is a hash area on the map. Then you got 50 or 100-year floodplain. If you build anything in those areas, you have to be above the base flood elevation. You have to have an engineering study to do that. If you'd like to want to build a new house there, you have to have an engineering study. And you still have to have flood insurance.
that's why at the time Blacksburg Street will eventually is going to.
Everything on the south side of Blacksburg Street is in the floodplain. The only one that's not is up near the railroad.
The Beavers used to live, that's where it floods around their house. You're talking about going down on the right side going in, going down?
Yes.
Everything on the right.
Everything on the left.
Do it on Monday again.
Dave, you were, discussed something before, I just wanna make sure you had an opportunity. Is that, did you get everything you needed to say out?
That's it.
Okay, I thought you and Zach both trying to start at the same time.
Okay, I have one more. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I wanna go home.
I have one more thing on our agenda for this meeting, and that is future work sessions. So I have a suggestion, unless you all just want to shoot it down, and that's fine. This is a big job. Again, everybody in this room plays a part of what goes in this comprehensive plan. I would like to create a committee for this comprehensive plan, and I would like 2 members of each committee to be on it.
Karen, Alicia,
Karen and Alicia for IDA,
unless you didn't want, unless you want to.
How about that? Oh, we do.
Planning Commission, do I have 2 volunteers?
Who's not here tonight?
Larry spoke first.
Hey, Lee,
Yes.
I just wanted to say this, and I ain't gonna say no more, because it's about time for us to leave anyway. But the
Oh, you
propane,
also have a meeting after this.
huh? The propane place down at North Tazewell is doing an excellent job, and they're Christian people. And he said that they met their quota, so $6,000 in a week for propane. It's pretty good.
Very good.
And I just wanted to let you know, and I think the council might want to stop in down there.
Looks good.
Yeah, you guys need to stop in, because he wants you to come down and give you a little tour of what he's doing and what he's planning.
That's a tiny house.
Yeah.
Okay, so, Planning Commission, I need 2 people. Were you serious?
Benny and DeCourcy.
Benny knows everything in town, and.
Benny and DeCourcy.
Just ask him. And just ask him, right, ask him. DeCourcy
Is
is not
his
here,
health
I think that's why she should be on. She's young.
Is his health okay? His health.
Is Benny's health okay?
No.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's had that surgery. He's better than Ben.
Also,
Thank you.
yes.
So, Ken,
I think Larry volunteered.
Yeah, he did.
It needs to be someone who's heard this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Thanks, Larry.
You know what,
Okay,
Council.
council, 2 volunteers.
I'm in.
Zach,
I'm pretty sure I was told, so.
volunteer, works. Yay. Zach and Lynn. Okay, and the reason that it's 2, you can tell me.
Because you can't have more than 2 people without a net.
Very good, thank you. Okay, so that's all that we have for our meeting tonight for this meeting. Now, at 7:30, we're going to have a public hearing for council for the vacancy of the mayor's seat. And right after that, we are going to go into an executive session. Yes.
Real quick, did they need to set up their first meeting?
That would be fine if y'all want to do it right now and set that, or you can collaborate emails.
We'll collaborate. I know all of them.
Okay, and then plan commission, you guys can't leave yet because you have one item to discuss.
Wait, we don't have a quorum.
We have one.
You've got 4?
No, don't we have to have 5?
No, sir.
Good trial area, that was a real valiant effort.
Bye, everybody.
All right, I'm gonna call the public hearing to order. So,
Thank y'all for your service.
Appreciate all of you.
the town of Tazewell was accepting resumes from citizens within the town of Tazewell corporate limits that would like to fill the unexpired term of Mayor Michael Hoopers, ending on December 31st, 2026. This position will begin upon appointment and subsequently swearing in by the clerk of the circuit court. Individuals interested in this position should have sent a resume along with reasons for seeking this position to the town of Tazewell, attention Leanne Reed, town manager, P.O. Box 608, 211 Central Avenue, Tazewell, Virginia, 24651. Resumes would be accepted until 2 p.m. on Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. The names of the applicants
We've already voted on
be
this.
read at the regular town council meeting to be held on Tuesday, November 18th, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. per code subsection 24.2-228 of the Code of Virginia. The submitted resumes will be available for inspection at Town Hall. Town council will review the applicants during an executive session at a special call meeting set for Monday, December 1st, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. and set forth a time for interviews of selected applicants if needed. The selected applicant will be sworn in as mayor at the regular town council meeting set for Tuesday, December 9th, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. And we had one applicant, and that was me.
Now, if anybody here wants to speak.
If anyone here would like to speak, the floor is yours. Chris, you want to speak? Check. All right. With that, I'll close the public hearing. Okay, so now I will accept a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make that motion. Second.
All right, I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Let's go to executive session. Kick off. I've got a motion to come out of executive session. Do I have a second? Second. Got a second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of coming out of executive session, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. I'll read this certification of executive session. Whereas the Tazewell Town Council has convened an executive session on this day pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas Section 2.1-344.1 of the Code of Virginia requires the certification by this council that such executive session was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. One second, sorry. Now therefore be it resolved, the Tazewell Town Council hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, one, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in executive session, to which this certification resolution applies, and two, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the executive sessions were heard, discussed, or considered by the Tazewell Town Council. All right, with that, I'll take a roll call vote. Councilmember King.
Aye.
Councilmember Fox.
Aye.
Aye. Councilmember Klein. Councilmember.
Aye.
Okay. Councilmember Wills.
Aye.
Councilmember Beasley. Aye. All right. The executive session is certified. All right. With that, we discussed the mayoral vacancy, and with that, I will hand the floor over. I will accept a motion to fill the mayoral vacancy.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Councilmember Joe Beasley to the position of mayor.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. All right, ayes have it, it carries. I'm excited to be the mayor.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I've got a speech prepared, but I'm not going to bore you. All right. Next, with that vacancy, that means I will be stepping down as vice mayor and council member, which will leave the vacancy for vice mayor. I will accept a motion to appoint a vice mayor.
I'll make a motion to nominate Councilmember Jonathan Hankins for the position of vice mayor.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, motion carries. Congratulations, Vice Mayor Hankins.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you.
All right, and are we going ahead and doing these as well, right? Okay, no, we're just reaching out.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, and with that, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second motion, got a second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Thank you all.